Hey, it's Mark Ferguson with Invest for More. We're back at the good laundromat. It is snowing today, although this is an old video. I forgot to do a front video today, but all the rest of the footage is new. The DMV lady who parks there has stopped parking there, so that's nice. Our trash is being emptied now, that's nice. And we're going to see if we broke a record again this week for money collecting the machines, which we were able to do last week, which was really cool and exciting. So we definitely got some good money in the machines. Don't know if it's a record, but it will be close. And these are my big machines, which always have the most money in them. And we'll see how they did this week as well. So let's get started, and we'll talk about some of the machines and fixing stuff as well, too. Okay, we're checking the coin change machine. This always gives us an indication of what's in the machines, but it's not foolproof. And I did check. I took cash out yesterday. I've taken cash out quite a bit, but I didn't put quarters back in yesterday, but there's quite a few quarters missing, so that's good. I didn't think we were going to have quite a record amount of cash like we did last week in here, but whoops. Okay. If we do have a lot of cash in here today, we could, oh, there's not much in there. There's usually more in that one. Is that one not working? Oh. That's weird. Let's test that one out and see if it's working. Yeah? Interesting. That one almost always has more money in it than that one. But it doesn't this time. Strange. That's okay. Still a good amount. And hopefully we break more records. Maybe, maybe not. There's nobody here again right now. I know there are people here just a little bit ago, so it's a nice surprise. So I'm going to get right to it and start opening these up. Because we can talk. And that's a great start. I know a lot of you have seen me do this a lot of times. Well, since December. I've been doing it pretty much every week, so it's tons of fun. But I always start back here. And sometimes these machines have a lot, and sometimes they don't. But that was a good amount for that back machine. That's a good start, too. Another decent one. So we had a record last week. Don't want to get ahead of myself. But based on what I've seen in 3 boxes, no, 4, I'm guaranteeing a record. No, not really. We'll see. Based on the cash in the machine from the weekend, it probably won't be a record. But things can be deceiving. And I haven't even checked it yet because I want to get to this right away. Not bad. Still waiting for the good laundromat guys to fix this machine at some point. I have not heard from them at all, so I don't know what's going on there. Oh, that's a good box, too. That might be the most I've had in one of these back ones. And of course, I was here, was it 2 days ago? And someone said this machine wasn't working. Someone had put a nickel in it. So, by far the biggest issues we have on machines, not bad, is people putting the wrong kind of money in them, nickels, even foreign coins, and then jamming. And what's the other issue? I can't remember now. I should know this. Oh, it's not bad there. But yeah, putting the wrong money in. And we've had lots of other random issues, but usually just restarting them and switching the breaker on and off fixes almost all the issues. Another decent box. Maybe I was only going to say one. I don't remember. Because I can't, I should just know without having to remember what our other issues are. We have lots of random ones. People putting, dog beds in a washer. That really jammed one up. We have drain issues once in a while, but it's usually just an error code, like I said. You trip the breaker, trip it back on, it works fine. That one says closed door over there. Wonder what's going on with that. The dryers, I don't know what the common issues with them are. They don't heat. That can be a really simple flap in the back to a ignition switch to all kinds of different things going on there. Some valves that could go bad. And the belts, they don't spin. That could be belts that are either loose or need replaced. So that's what's wrong with these two down here. And I thought my contractor had fixed one because he texted me all excited about, oh yeah, I fixed the one that wasn't spinning. I took it apart and I bought some belts, but they're the wrong size. That's a good box. So I'll get the right size belts. But it's like, yeah, I couldn't replace the belt. It was fine, but I took it apart, cleaned it, and put it back together and started working again. And I tried these two that weren't spinning, and I'm like, another good one. They're still not spinning, they're still not working. And he had taken apart one of the ones that was working because he thought I had mentioned it when we were here before that it wasn't working. Yeah, that one was already working. So I was real excited that we'd fixed another machine by ourselves. That was a little premature. Yeah, not bad. I mean, definitely going to be a decent week, whether it breaks a record or not. The ones closest to the wall always have the least amount of money for whatever reason. I guess I can bring this closer to me. Let's see what we've got. Closed door. Oh! It's got money in there. You just have to close the door and it will start. There you go. I'm surprised someone didn't call me or text me and be like, oh, this machine's broken, it won't work. And half the time that happens too. It starts working on its own. It's like, oh yeah, it started working. Or they didn't have the door shut all the way, or something else is going on, and they fix themselves. Yeah. Oh, that's not bad. Straggler. That's a really good one. Okay, now we go to the biggest ones, the most fun at the end, but let's see. That's pretty heavy already. I'm pretty happy with how things are going. Because like I said, I collected money from the change machine. I might have already shown that part by now, but to me it's a mystery. I collected money from the change machine earlier this week a couple times, and it wasn't quite as much as we had last week. But again, that's not completely indicative of what will happen in the machines. It just gives us an idea. So maybe there was more in there today, who knows, or maybe there's just more quarters in here and less dollars. Okay, that one, maybe a little lower than last week. I feel like these were really full last week. And then again, someone had said one of these wasn't spinning, but the lady who cleans the place does laundry here all the time, and she uses these constantly. She said she hasn't noticed a problem. So again, it's finicky stuff. Oh, that's a good box. Again, it might be a little less than last week. Hard to say. Just going by pure memory. And then this is the one, our big one. We really should raise prices on these. They're way cheap. Our 60-pound. Oh, that's a good one. That's heavy. That's at least as much as last week, I think. All those beautiful quarters going down into the bucket. And I'll pick up the bucket, and that gives me an idea. Boy, that's heavy. Let's see how our cart drives. That was a good indication last week, too, that I had more than ever. Oh, look at that. That cart is trying to run into the trash can. It is. It's pretty heavy because it's a little tricky to push. And I think it was like that. Whoa. When I had both buckets on there, not just one. We haven't even done the dryers yet. Oh, and someone asked about the blue quarter. I've seen a couple of blue quarters go through here since I've had the laundromat, almost every week. And basically the same quarters get used over and over again. So I take the quarters out of the machines like I just did, we count them, then they go back in the change machine. People get the quarters out, put them back in the machines. So a lot of these quarters are just used over and over again. They're not new quarters, and so that's why I keep seeing those blue quarters. So I guess it'll be a sad day when the blue quarters disappear. And once in a while I'll look through these and see if there's anything special, but I don't have time to peek through all of them and look at those. I see some of those coin guys on TikTok, and man, they just get rolls of quarters and go through each one individually. I'm like, you guys should come to my laundromat. You will have a field day with all the stuff we've got. That's a broken one. Right. Oh. This is the possessed dryer, the one that I spent weeks trying to fix the pricing on, and finally got the pricing fixed, and the heat went out on it like the same week. And I had my contractor look at it, and he said, did I put those in the wrong one? I did, there were 3 of them. He said he thinks it's an ignition switch because he tested power, tested all the things you're supposed to test. There's lots of good YouTube videos on that. And could not find any easy solutions. He thinks it's an ignition switch, so we'll see. Hey, that's not bad. That's a good start for our first upper one, because the upper ones make way more than the bottom. We'll try to remember to put them in the right bucket. That's not bad either. These dryers are 8 minutes for a quarter, which is the cheapest in the area. I know some people say they're too expensive. They get 15 minutes for a quarter. Not around here. And other laundromat people I've talked to and people who use laundromats, I'd say 80 to 90% say my dryers are cheaper than theirs. There might be a few that have cheap ones, but that could be in an area with way cheaper cost of living in Colorado, cheaper utilities, and there's also, I'm sure, different strategies laundromats use in different areas. You know, some people said they get free dryers. Well, if you're getting free dryers, you know they're making up for it by making the washers way more expensive. And so, you know, you can't really judge. Those are my test quarters. I'm still going to count them. You can't really judge the full price and costs based on not taking into consideration the washers and dryers. Because doing stuff for free is usually not a good business strategy. So there's a couple extra bucks in there that technically were for me, not people, but that's okay. I mean, I am a person. Customers, I should say that. That's a good one too. So the dryers are looking pretty good too. Again, last week was a record for washers and dryers. Well, it's hard to say on the dryers if it's a record or not, but these are decent boxes. Oh, that's a really good one. Let's test something out real quick. This is the one I fixed. Yeah, it still gives you. If I can like $20. But that one was one of them giving 16 minutes for a quarter before that we did fix. So people might have gotten used to using that one, but they get more money and not noticing it got fixed, or they just keep using it out of habit, which is how humans operate all the time. Nobody's parked. Well, is that one of my spots? I think that's one of my spots, but for the most part, nobody's parking in my spots today. Let's see how this cart feels. I don't know if it's quite as heavy as last week, but it's pretty heavy. Because I can tell it's wanting to go off kilter a little bit. All right. We'll keep checking more stuff. Soap, vending, all that stuff. Opening up the soap machine, we'll see how much soap is gone. Not much at all. So some weeks people use a lot of soap and some weeks they don't use much. This would be a week I did not use very much. Yeah. Whoops. So there's, what, $15 in there is my guess, and usually there's 30 or so, maybe. Sometimes we've had even more. So definitely had better weeks of soap, but that's not a big deal. Checking the vending machine, and I was gonna go to Sam's this week, and I forgot to get more stuff. Not bad. We had a lot of dollar coins in here last week. Runaway quarter. Got it. I mean, not that much. Checking the pop machine, and my Dr. Pepper's out. I knew I was low. That's why I want to go to Sam's and get more stuff. I completely spaced. I can still go. Might have time. But I am doing a conference call for my Blueprint coaching program this afternoon, which makes my Fridays a little tighter than normal. Oh, looks like I don't have my box all the way in. And there's two Dr. Peppers left. Okay, the rest a little low on Sprite. Okay. Quarters are not easy to pick up. They're not built for spilling and collecting, whatever. You know what? There might be more in here than the vending machine. Maybe. He'll be close. That almost never happens. So there are the belts I got. They were the wrong size. And I kind of assumed they would be. I couldn't find any numbers or anything for what size to get, and just kind of looked online for similar looking ones as this and tried to get them. But then when my guy tried to replace those belts, he did find the actual belt on the machine back there to say, hey, this is what we really need, had a number on it. And this one, someone said, wasn't heating up. And that's one that wasn't heating up before, but I had messed around with the flapper guy behind it, and it started working again. So let's see. I also took a peek at another laundromat that's kind of abandoned, not working right now. So this flap right here, we mess around with and make sure it's working. Is that on? I can't tell yet. But there could be some other issues too. All this gets so linty, so fast. What's it look like up there? It's supposed to be all clean. I don't think it's... Oh no, there's fire. I see fire. Right? I see some flame in there. So hopefully that heats up now. Oh, what I was saying is another laundromat in a very small town. And someone was saying, you should go get that one and buy that one. But I do not want that one for a couple of reasons. One, it's kind of the opposite direction of my liquor store, other properties I have. I do have a property in that town, but I don't have to go there very often. That's actually the property that had a bunch of issues with the tenant that I showed in my member-only channel earlier this week for numerous reasons. But the other reason is I've peeked inside of it. That's getting warm. It's not hot yet. Seems kind of wobbly. Maybe it's not heating up all the way. Anyway, I peeked in the windows and it had like 2 of these, I think. 30 pound, or these are 27 pound, 30. 2 of these, the rest were all top loaders and dryers that were about 20 years older than these. All their faces were open and parts strewn everywhere. You'd have to rebuild that whole place with all new equipment. It would be very, very expensive. I mean, unless I could find an amazing deal like I did on some of the machines from the defunct Laundromat in Louisville, where I paid $20,000 for a bunch of machines. That was a steal. I can't ever, rely on getting that deal again. You're probably paying, gosh, $50,000 to $100,000 for used machines that aren't that great. It's warm, but it's not. That's pretty warm in there. I think that one's working again. There we go. But like I said, it could have just not worked one time and decided to work every other time. So I'm not really actively looking for another laundromat. I'd really like to get these running smoothly and, making money first. But I also need to be careful of my time. And if a laundromat's, that's probably 20, 30 minutes from me, my office, and not the same direction as my other ones, that adds up to a lot of time. And if I'm going there and doing videos at that one too, like I am in these every week, all of a sudden all I'm doing is being a laundromat cinematographer and not doing any other stuff. So if there was another laundromat in town and it was a really good deal, I'd probably consider it. But at that point too, if I started getting more laundromats, I'd probably have to stop doing weekly videos on them. Maybe bi-weekly and alternate which ones I do. Who knows? But I don't think I could wait that long to collect money out of these big ones. I feel like they would be full and start jamming up. So we'll see. I saw another laundromat TikTok video where they didn't collect for like 21 days or something, and their coin boxes were overflowing, of course, but I'm like, there's no way I could do that. Some of these would be fine, but those front ones, they would be overflowing, jam up the machines. There's no way they'd work that long. So I don't know if they really wait that long or if they're just doing it for effect. Who knows? All right, we'll count the money, we'll show the charts, and we'll see how we did this week. All right, so we're starting to see what we've got in the pop machine, vending machine, and soap machine this week. There was not as much as last week in those machines, I know that for sure. And then I did also collect money earlier today than I did last week. So that can play a part too, because I know if I collect money in the afternoon, 1, 2 o'clock, there's going to be more in the machines than if I collected at 10 or 11, which is what I did today. So I can't make it exact. I have different things going on during the day, but that is something to consider. And then if I go on vacation or miss a week, then that can really mess things up, which has happened before on the small laundromat. But my vending machine got stuck again, or broke the change machine again because there were dollar coins in there again. So I didn't see them. I was looking for them, but I missed them. There was a dollar coin in there, and then another dollar coin in there too that people are using. So kind of cool, but it does mess up my change machine a little bit. If it's nickels or dimes or pennies, it'll spit them out, but the dollar coins will jam it up, as if I don't need enough reasons to jam it up. And yep, there was another one that got stuck in there as well. But definitely the more fun part is when we get to the dryer and we can show you all the money we make from it, and the washers, which takes a little longer, but don't worry, I speed up the clips so it doesn't take forever. And yeah, not much in the vending machine this week, even with some nickels and stuff, and that was not that old of a nickel. And then the $2 coins, which are kind of cool. All right, here is the dryer money. So it's always interesting to see how much we bring in here. Our record for dryer money is, hold on a second, $329.75, which is, let me get out my calculator, about 1,319 quarters. So 1319 is our record. We'll see if we can get to there. A little manual help with the change machine, counter, whatever it is. So there's definitely a good amount in here. And I was getting kind of excited for breaking my record. At least I got over 300. So not quite a record, but close. Actually, I had one more quarter in there, huh? because I had one that spit out. There's another one that just spit out in the bottom. I don't know if you saw that. So I might have missed a couple of those that were being spit out. I might have to change that on my... I can change that on my chart right now, actually. I had at least 50 cents more there. 35. We'll make this. Okay. I'm just fixing my change. There we go. Now what happens here? It happened last week too. I don't know what's going on. It gets to a certain amount right here, and it like resets back to 1756, and then it does this weird thing too where you can set it to count out a certain amount of coins, like 100 or 200 coins, and it stops. It like turns that setting on too, so that's why I have to keep like pushing that button to make it going, because it's not stopping because it's jammed, it's stopping because it counted a certain amount of coins. And I didn't realize that till, there we go, I'm fixing it right now. That should fix that, and now it'll be a little smoother. So I had 24 coins, and then it went back to 1756, and then my camera ran out of filming time and missed the end of the count. But if you trust me, I did all the math. I got the count correct. I know how much was in there. The record we are shooting for was $1,014, which is 1,014 times 4, about 4,060 quarters. In that range is our record. So that's what we were going for there. We just missed the dryer record, and then we'll show you what we ended up doing on my fancy chart right here, which shows a very good trend. And I've said this before, our break-even point is probably about $4,000 a month, and this is weekly revenue. So we had a really good week there in January, then things kind of went downhill, then kind of flat. And last week we had a record amount, which was really cool to see, the most we've ever had, and that topped out at over 1,400. And then this week we ended up having not a record. You can see it's going down some, but $12.99. It's actually $12.99.50. I changed some of those numbers after just watching the film. So really close to our best, but not quite. I think it was our third best day. So if we would have had more money in the vending machine and stuff, it would have been our second best day by far, because we had more money in the washers and dryers than that other week in January, I should say, week. But we didn't have nearly as much in the soap machine, the pop machine, or the vending machine. So that's why we were slightly behind them. But still, not bad. You know, if we keep this up, it is making money. It's not making a ton of money, but it is making money. So we definitely want to increase revenue, and hopefully our trend is to continue to go up like it has been. But it definitely lost its sharp upward curve that we had in the very beginning. Obviously, people figured out we're open again. There's a lot of reasons for that. Now, you know, there's some more marketing we can do. We could raise prices for sure, especially on some of the big washers. Eventually, we could do wash and fold. I don't know if I want to do that. But it's also seasonal a little bit, so I don't know if winter or summer is better for doing laundry if you have more people out. And earlier this year, I thought when it's super cold, it got down to like minus 29 here in Colorado, where we are at. I thought for sure it would be dead and nobody would be out. And it was one of our best weekends ever. So we'll see how all this goes. Still a good week, almost our second best week. And we'll see what happens next week, and the week after that, and the week after that. We'll see if we can get some of these machines fixed too. And we'll see how the little laundromat does as well, because that one's been a little bit more of a struggle. All right, thanks for watching. We'll be back and love to hear what you think.